Hey, everybody, and welcome to It's Covered the Insurance podcast. Because if you think that insurance is boring, then you are not doing it properly. I'm your host, Paul, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, um, eh, just kind of how the public regards their agent. Just in the way of we're doing, what we're doing for them. Um, it's interesting. It's like I when I was first becoming an agent, I was told by a friend who was an agent that that if I was going to do the calendar route, to make sure that I understood that I was signing on to that forever, because the people would never let me stop. And I found that to be true. So I was like intentionally holding off on starting that for my customers, because I knew that was going to be a growing expense, and I wasn't really sure that I wanted to do that or not. But what I did do is I had these tiny, like fit in the palm, in your hand sized tear off calendars for the magnetic for the fridge. And I didn't even give them to customers. I gave them out at an event. It was a Christmas event, and so we're just giving them out there. And the next year, we had somebody who, it wasn't even a customer, somebody who came by specifically to see if we were doing that again. And we were not. We that event was not. We misjudged the intensity of the event and how many people we'd actually get to talk to, and so we had we had a ton of them, a crap ton of them left over, and the event didn't go all that well, and so we would. I was like, well, that was just money wasted, and so we did not do it again the next year. And so the following year, the guy came by again and asked for them, and to see if we were still doing them. And he wasn't he wasn't mad or anything, but the fact that he was actually stopping by, he wasn't calling or anything like that. He wasn't even a customer. He was just stopping by um, to see if we had these. I just was interesting. That it's like there's a lot of free crap that you get at these events, but apparently people really like calendars. And what he said he was doing is he had him in his truck, and he worked on the road, and so he like had it up on, I think he like taped it up on the dash or something, and so was using it that way. And but it's like I'm glad somebody told me that, because that's not really the way I think. And so I wouldn't have thought that customers would be doing that, but they do. And and I think a lot of it is that, for most people, that's what they get from their agent, from their insurance, or nothing. It's like, I mean, it's either some trinket or something, or nothing. And I know a lot of agents who do we'll do like a movie day where all their customers are invited to come down for a free movie, uh, and that's kind of one of the things that they do for their customer. And even there, people tell me like that, if for some reason that is not able to happen, like people get really pissed off, and it's like wondering like, why is that? And part of it is just that thing that we expect that's just totally worthless, but we've come to expect it. It's like, as an illustration, the example I like to use is go to a Chinese restaurant, and that they're out of fortune cookies, you know, and it's like, And how irritated do you get at that? That these ridiculously cheap cookies that aren't even that good, um, that that just kind of come with the meal you actually paid for. That was delicious. And you'll be there at the end going, "Where's my fortune cookie?" But part of it is that just that expectation and the disappointment when we don't get what we expect. But part of it is that we're not really getting anything else from our insurance. Um, and I mean, it's like we're not upset that the grocery store doesn't give us calendars, right? Because the grocery store gives us groceries. But for most people, on a day-to-day basis, and it's like, and look, I'm going to include myself. And I've been in two major accidents, and that's a lot. I mean, most people maybe get one. And so I've been through more than the average person, and even me who works in insurance, I'm just annoyed at having to pay for insurance, because it's one of those things. It's like, okay, like what am I paying for? This is just money coming out of I mean, it's like taxes, it's like, I know this goes into a fund that funds some stuff that is around, but really what am I getting out of this? And that's kind of the thing with insurance is you forget over time, especially because it's not cheap, but you forget over time what we're actually doing. And I don't really, have like a fix all solution to this, because it's going to differ person to person. The best thing that we can do is to follow through with our customers the best way we can. And part of that is like not writing just these boilerplate policies for them, but actually getting in tune to their needs. If we can reduce their cost, let's reduce their cost. Not everyone needs every single coverage. I know that's heresy for some of you. I know it is. But it's also true. Just a just really broad, blatant example is that that not everyone needs rental coverage on their auto. There are people with two drivers and three cars just because they really like cars. And that's not a ridiculously expensive coverage, but it's something, and they might not need it. The number of times I've seen all of you writing, wage loss coverage for retired people. It blows my mind. Okay, so these are just, really obvious stuff, but not everybody needs a $500 deductible or $250 deductible. Not everybody even needs collision and comprehensive coverage. And so part of it comes down to that is to actually, seeing what we can do to make their part of the pie, smaller to their needs, not artificially smaller. It's just like, okay, well, we're just going to just write this policy to get it as cheap as humanly possible, but appropriately smaller. And part of it is touching base with them. I'm a huge fan of annual insurance reviews. For most people, again, I'm not going to make a blanket statement for any customer, because customers are different. What they need is different. I'm not going to go to an annual insurance review. I mean, why would I? I mean, it's like, I do this day in and day out. And so this is not designed for me. But for most people, it'd be really good. It's a time to remind people what they're getting, and it's not a calendar. And it's or movie or whatever the case may be. It's not that. It's that peace of mind. I mean the people who have been in a wreck are often the kind of the best ones to sell to, especially a recent wreck. But even those of us who have been in a wreck, as the bills just keep mounting up, and you realize that you're paying just literally thousands of dollars a year on insurance. I mean, just count it up. I was like, I mean, one of all of our most expensive budgetary items is our health insurance bill. And then you get, the homeowners and the auto on top of that. And that is a huge part of our budget every month. And when you start realizing it's like, this is stuff that I don't use. I'm not getting anything for it except the peace of mind, which most people don't really think about anyways. I mean the people who worry about this sort of stuff, these are not the people we're talking about, right? These are people who understand the value of insurance and will get it. It's most of us that just don't think that things are going to happen like that. So I was thinking about this because we had just this massive, sudden rain today, and it's been dry for a long time, and so it wasn't in anybody's head that a rain might be dangerous today. It's been one of those seasons where it's like, yeah, the ground is going to soak that up in about half a second. And I was on my way home and drove past a car that had been stalled out in floodwaters because the rain was so intense for such for that period of time that it was falling much faster than the either the sewer or the ground could get rid of it. And so one of the major streets I was on, it was 4 lanes going one way and 3 lanes were flooded, and like everybody was crammed over onto the other one, and somebody had tried to go through it and stalled out. And that's the thing that happens when we're not expecting it. And that's the thing where you start mentally thinking, well, okay, what is my how is this first of all, is this covered by insurance? How is this covered? What's my deductible? What's going to happen now? And that, of course, is too late to actually go back and reduce your deductible and do that. So we've got to get it straight beforehand. But the challenge for us is communicating that to the customer, that this is something that we need to keep in order, that we need to keep at an appropriate level at all times, because it might be at the tail end of the drought where the heavens just open up in rain and we're overwhelmed. And as I said, there's any time that we're dealing with customers on an individual basis, there's never going to be a silver bullet. There's never going to be one consistent answer that solves all of our problems for every single one. And so what we as agents need to do is try on every single one of them, and getting to know your customers a lot better. I mean, keep notes on your customers. Keep notes on what they're wanting out of insurance, of what they're are they the type to worry about car accidents or floods or that sort of thing, or are they the type that thinks that this is all kind of a scam? Because you have that customer I know you do because I did. We had several that this is all, it's like we're getting insurance because the state makes us or the mortgage company makes us. But it's just a scam. And we're going to approach those people differently. And so getting to know our customers, the annual insurance reviews, explaining this to your customer, really digging into their policy and making sure those levels are appropriate, or can we reduce some for their benefit. These are all ways to help engage them into this when they might not care right now. And they might not think it's important right now. This is going to be a never-ending struggle because it's like the people you convince one day, and we've all been here before. It's like when you signed, you brought on that customer at higher levels, at higher limits, because you convinced that customer when you signed them up that this was important and this is what they needed. And then a year later they leave for lower premiums, right? I mean, we've had that customer too, because it's the continual struggle. And that's why we need to stay connected with our customer. And shoot, if that takes a movie day, I'm not opposed to it. It's not something I tried, but man, I wish my agent did that now though. That'd be awesome. I'd totally go see a movie with my agent. So in any case, I really do appreciate you tuning in today. I hope you have a great week. That as tedious as our process can be, as tedious as our day can be, as much as this just becomes Monday, please remember that at some point, probably even this week, somebody's going to need us that doesn't understand this, that doesn't have a clear understanding of what to do in an accident or what to do in a loss, and that person's going to need us. And for them, it's the end of the world. For you, it's Monday. But do keep that in mind, because we are here. We are here to serve our neighbor by offering that sort of financial protection, that sort of advice and guidance when it comes to insurance and the things that we specialize in and we protect. So thank you again, and we will catch you next Monday. See you then.